So, the US government shut down. Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that I am extremely liberal in context of policy and whatnot, except for a few things. But it is so blatantly bad that we're sitting here and I've heard people on the news, politicians, say that the coming debt ceiling fight, oh, it's no big deal. No big deal. We won't default on our debt. We won't. The fucking National Treasury is saying that they don't have any fallback. No way to appropriate funds, no way to tell who gets paid. It's either you get paid or you don't. That is what the National Treasury is saying. And if the debt ceiling is breached, I don't know if anyone knows what the debt ceiling is, and if you don't, I'll make another video later. I don't have shit in front of me right now, and I don't care to. But, it's amazingly unbelievable. It's like, I sit here and I watch these fuckers, get paid while I have another neighbor down the street from me who works for the post office or a government job. I'm not sure if it's the post office, I can't remember. But if it is, it's the U.S. Postal Service, and he's not going to get paid. Civilian workers in the military are not going to get paid, so the person that does all the job, basically like the fucking water boy, for example, in an office, or office people anywhere, they're not going to get paid. How do you justify that? How do you justify saying, oh, we'll get your paycheck next week? Look, I live paycheck to paycheck with my family. Most families live paycheck to paycheck, and if you're working for the government, you really are living paycheck to paycheck. Even teachers do not get paid that much. Yes, they get retirement benefits and whatnot and whatever, but teachers don't get paid that much. A lot of government jobs are shit for pay. Now, they're great if you want longevity, if you want an actual job you're gonna stick with. Yeah, that's a good job. Usually government jobs are good for that. But I'm looking at my science teacher the other day. I'm talking to her, and they're not going to get paid. The teachers, everybody under the government except for veterans. And you know what really was an outrage to me? Was that people who have fallen soldiers, I don't know if anyone's heard about this. If you have, you've turned on the TV and flipped to one of the non-Fox News channels any day from yesterday, and I believe the day before. But families of fallen soldiers do not get the death benefits. So basically, your son dies in the war, and you're like, meh, we don't have to pay you. It is so deplorable. It's just, there's not even a word for it. Deplorable, angering, those aren't sufficient enough words. They're not sufficient enough to tell a story of the person who fucking dies on the battlefield and is hoping his family will not have to deal with that as much. And there are people grieving with fallen soldiers that cannot get to the casket. Now, in case you have heard about this, a charity did step in and help the few, I guess, of whatever I heard about. But basically, hold on. But basically, it's just so bad. Our government shuts down, and I hear fucking people, raving about it, like all happy. It's the U.S. government. You cannot have anarchy. I mean, what do you want? You want us to take, this isn't a real gun, but, take our guns and shit and go fucking storm the U.S. Capitol? I mean, shit. The level of stupidity that goes in both our House of Representatives, the Senate, wherever the fuck, the level of stupidity that is there is unbelievable. And, oh my god, and so many blatant lies. It is so unbelievable, and people believe it. People believe whatever the fuck these people say, and I can tell you that's a bad idea. Many people can tell you that's a bad idea, but hey, whatever. It's just so... there's not words. There are not words. For me, I had, again, very little sleep, but words are not coming to me right now. So bad. So fucking bad. And the fact is, once we reach the debt ceiling is basically a bill that tells the government it can pay its bills. It's a little more complicated than that, but it is, at its base, that is what that means. At its base, it's just saying, pay your bills. But without it, you can't. That's the problem. It's not just saying pay your bills, it's telling you you can pay your bills. It's a bad system, but there is no other way currently to do it. It's so bad, but the point is, once that's breached, once you reach the limit of time that the bill has, so basically the bill has a time limit. So it's saying you can pay your bills for, I'm going to pull a number out of my ass, 4 years. Once that 4 years is up, they have to pass it before the 4 years is up, because once the 4 years is up, you don't have rights to pay money at all. No money going out of the U.S. government. So that means the credit's going to get terrible. I mean, literally, it's basically like Joe Blow down the street defaulting on his bill and getting bad credit. The only difference is you're talking about millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, millions of people, billions of dollars, even more than just millions, being filtered and not being paid, and people, buy treasuries because it's the safest thing. Bonds and U.S. bonds for other countries, they're like the safest thing for people to buy. For other countries to buy, right? It's going to stay there and you're going to keep paying because you're the U.S. We've never defaulted on our bills. But once that happens, and I'm betting it'll happen because I don't see any way out of this anytime soon, the U.S. will fuck the entire world economy in the ass and just explode. The systems that we have to pay can only pay all or nothing. It's not like, oh, let's pay China, let's pay dudes in the U.S. that have treasuries, let's pay... No, you can't do that. You pay all or nothing, because that's what the debt ceiling is telling the government to do. It's telling the treasury, you can pay, but it's all or nothing. You can't just not pay this guy and pay this guy. It's not like a credit card, because if it was like a credit card, you could pay it off, right? Over so many years. Or so many months, whatever the fuck. I'm irrelevant. The fact that they buy these bonds is a good thing, because it puts trust in us, and we will therefore get more money from other countries, right? It's just fucked. I'm gonna end here because I'm at the 10-ish minute mark. It's a bad thing. this is a very, very bad thing, and we are going so down south, and it's not even, and I'm not trying to act like I know what I'm talking about. I don't know a whole bunch about this because we've never defaulted on our debt. Ever. The debt ceiling has never been breached. The debt ceiling has never even been close to being breached. Even if the government shut down, like it has in the past, the debt ceiling was attached to a funding bill that Congress passed every fucking time. That's the problem, is there were no arguments over the debt ceiling. There were arguments over keeping the government open, but there were never arguments about the debt ceiling, and that is the key lie that people are telling, is that, oh, the debt ceiling has been argued over many... No. No, just in the past, like, 2-3 years has it started to be a big problem. Alright, so this is John Jay with political and non-political and all that other shit news. Later.